and welcome to That Squirrel Speaks. Today is Tuesday, May 11th? I don't know what day. And this episode, 140 something. I know, right? Why do I even do it? I don't know. Why can I never remember to look it up before we start? I don't know. I'm your hostess, Amy Beth, also known as Fat Squirrel on Ravelry, also known as The Fat Squirrel, SQRRL, on Instagram. Hi, how are you? I hope you're doing well. I've lots to talk about this week. There will be shenanigans, there will be spinning, there will be knitting, and there will be shameless self-promotion. Shameless. There will be fidgeting with clothes and hair. I'm your surprise. I promise I don't fidget with myself when I'm not on camera. It's just because the camera's there. And it makes you be like, oh wait, what? It's like that. Can't help it. Before I get started, this is my beeswax hat, and I can't remember who it's by, but it's in the lovely Dramaturge. The colorway is Copper Cloud, and that is by Leading Men Fiber Arts. Hi, how are you? I already said that. Oh well. So let's get into it. Maybe let's do knitting and spinning first. I know, right? I don't know what's happening. Let's do it. Okay. So, wait, I have to shuffle. Shuffle. I have finished spinning. Bam! This is my loop bat, and it is in the colorway Wild Rose, and it's a Merino Tussa Bamboo loop bullseye bump. And I did a chain ply, because as you all know, the loop has long color changes. Well, at least a lot of hers do. She now has some out that have a shorter color change, but this is one of the traditional ones with the older long colorway, which she still does. She just in addition to now. So, I don't know if you can see it. Well, whatever, we'll just try. Now, there's like a super hot pink, which is, it's not reading as super hot pink. It's actually washing it way out. Oh, camera. Why are you confused by my earth tones and then crazy cool tones? But anyway, it starts out with this like fuchsia-y hot pink, which is very exciting. And then it goes into a mauvier rose. And then it goes into a kind of, I think it goes then brown. And then like this mossy green. Can you see? Oh yeah, you can see the mossy green. And then it goes into this rich, dark, bluey green. Right. Yay, that. So this was a total of 5.3 ounces, I think. Yes. And I got something like almost 600 yards. So 580 yards. And it is a fingering to sport weight. Is that all I need to say? These are super awesome spinning tags by Gusler Designs. You can find them on Etsy. Also Etsy. That's what that's actually called. I look homeless. What is going on with my hair? See, I know, right? I appear vainer than I really am. Camera does not add 10 pounds. It adds 30% vanity. Okay, maybe 80%, quite frankly. So yay, there's that. I spun this on my Ladybug, which is my wheel of choice. I do have an older Louette S10, but I don't really use it. I know, that's shameful, right? I should probably resell that so that it can be out in the world. But for some reason, I just can't let it go. I don't know what's happening. I just can't do it. So, yay, that. It's very fun to spin. I'm not usually a big merino fan, but the loop only does the merino, so sometimes. Yay! And then I am currently spinning, I forgot to bring the tag, from Fat Cat Knits. This is Polworth in her Spinach Souffle colorway. Because I needed green. I did not have enough green in my life. So there's that. And it's dyed to order. I got 6 ounces. So here's the first 3 ounces on a bobbin. I don't know. There you go. That's it right there. It's very fun to spin. I really like Fat Cat Knits. Because again, she has a large number of colorways and you just order them dyed to order. So you can get them in pretty much whatever fiber base you want. She has merino, she has merino silk, she has pulwear silk, she has some super washes in there. I feel like she has like a Corriedale. Anyway, she's got a big variety. And you can order in 4 or 6 ounce increments, and then therefore you can order, you know, a sweater's worth even if you wanted to. And it's always very loverly done. I am doing the first ply I did, and it came in like 3 2-ounce braids. The first, I think, maybe it came in a 4 or 2. I can't remember. The first bobbin that I did, so the first 3 ounces, I did straight from the braid. And then the second bobbin that I'm currently working on, I am doing it, the roving split into 4 skinny strips. So it'll have shorter repeats and therefore hopefully it'll be more integrated and give me lots of fun barber pulling. And even the single has good barber pulling in it because her braid is not, well, let's see if we can find a piece while we're talking about it, shall we? Oh, I did this from the wrong end. I can't make it work apparently. There we go. So, let's see. Okay, well, you can kind of see it there. But like her braid is not the same color for the entire width. You have some variation, even there's like a little pop of teal in there. So you get good barber pulling in the transitions. It's not, you know, anyway, it's good, it's fun. And again, it's always very nicely done. And it doesn't take her long either. It's pretty quick turnaround for a dyed to order, I think. I can't remember exactly how long, but it's never like, oh my God, where's my stuff? It's like, oh, I didn't think it was going to take that quickly. That didn't make sense, but you know what I mean. Yeah. I didn't think it was going to come that quickly. So that's very enjoyable. Oh, sorry. I also forgot that to mention that I finished my baby hat for Mini Pearl Girl. It's MINIPURLGIRL, Mini Pearl Girl, who is doing her senior capstone project in conjunction with the Click for Babies project. So she's asked for donations of hats for infants that are at least 50% purple. So here's mine. It is knit with last year's SSK goodie bag yarn, which is Wandering Wool in an MCN in the Knitting in the Nashville Nights colorway. And this is a free pattern, and I apologize, all of a sudden I can't remember what it is, but it's like basic sock yarn baby hat or something equally generic. So anyway, thanks, and sorry I forgot. If you're interested in helping out Kylie, she is accepting donations, I believe, until the end of May. So, but you can knit a baby hat in like an evening. And you can find more information again on her Ravelry page. Thanks. Let's move on to knitting, shall we? I have a finished object. I finished my Neon Beast. That is a pattern by the lovely Vera Valimaki. And it is knit with Madeline Tosh in her Madeline Tosh Twist Light. So it's the fingering weight with nylon. The regular sock is just merino, but the Twist Light is merino with nylon. It's very soft though. But here it is. So this color is Geode, this color is Winter Wheat, and this color is Kitten the Gray. So here it is. So you get that extra stripe in there, followed by just a lovely long stripe of yellow. I enjoyed making it. There were some sections that were, you know, the longer solid sections that were a little bit like, okay, this might never end. But I really like it because I feel like it's going to be very wearable and the colors are just crazy enough that you can wear them like, that doesn't match. That's okay. Do you know what I mean? Like there's sometimes where you're like, oh, that's kind of too close. It almost looks like I'm trying to match, but just couldn't quite get there. This is like way out there for me. So it just, and when you can't see it now, but when you wear it, you can see all the stripy goodness. But it's not so stripy that the stripes just are overwhelming. It's just like, oh, stripes. Hey, stripes, what's up, stripes? I totally like it. And also, I love garter stitch. I did not block this. This is straight from the needles. I've had it done for at least a week, if not more, but I don't think I'm going to block it because I really just like it how it is. I like the way it fits. I like the size of it. I like the weight of it. I like the texture of it. So, and I always kind of like that about garter stitch anyway. But sometimes you get done with something and it's just a little small, so you need to get the extra size out of it. But this is a perfect size and I like it. I did it just as written. The only difference is I didn't have enough of the yellow, the last stripe, to complete the final width of that stripe. But it's just like a till you run out thing mostly anyway. So anyway, I really like it. I've had this weird thought brewing. I haven't actually picked up Amy Herzog's new Knitwear Love. I just haven't yet. But then I did see the Knit Girls review and they were talking about how she's really concentrated more on styles. Like, what is your personal style? Are you sporty? Are you classic? Are you, what was the other, like bohemian? And there's another one, I don't know. Fancy, probably. I don't know. And I have kind of like come to the thought or the realization, at least it's percolating, that maybe my knitting style does not actually match my everyday wear style. And I need to think about that more. Because traditionally, I think I'm really drawn to classic knitwear. You know, very simple with maybe some maybe textural differences versus color differences. I have no idea. I've not read the book. This is like secondhand. But anyway, so I'm thinking that maybe like I really do knit more classic, but I dress more. Is there like a total bum? Maybe that's one of the styles. So maybe I need to like readjust what I'm attracted to in knitwear so that I'll wear it more. Does that make sense? Because I really do love knitting, like in a crazy way, as you may have noticed. But I do find myself not wearing a lot of knitwear because I'm often like, I don't know how to wear it. Like, I know like how to wear it, but I don't know how should wear it. Does that make sense? Like with my current wardrobe of black yoga pants and graphic tee. Oh, that's all I know how to wear. But anyway, so I need to like kind of think about that, I think, more. What do you think? Anyway, it'd be fun to just try to mix up more what I'm knitting, which is, I think this one is one of those things. It's like, hey, that is not my traditional style, but I really like the way, it looks. I enjoyed knitting it, and I think it's going to be a fun wearable piece. So just saying, just thinking. Can you hear the wind howling? I'm not sure if you can. The wind is howling in a serious way outside. It's been 80 degrees, 85 degrees, almost 90 degrees for like a week, and then all of a sudden today it's 60 degrees. So we're having some tumultuous airflow outside. So I don't know if you can hear that. Okay, so I did make a little bit more progress on my pop spots. Oh, I'm in the middle of a row. How clever of me. But not a huge amount more. It's still very enjoyable. I'm just not as drawn to it as I was when I started it. You know how that goes, right? Just really in love with the idea of it, and then it's like, okay, well, the idea now I see. Now I can just chill out for a while. But it's still very pretty, and it is with Madeline Tosh Merino Light. The green color is the Maple Leaf, and the purple color is the Medieval. It's stuck on my current shawl that I'm wearing. So there it is. That's fun. It's good. Good times. Good times. I know, what's up with all the purple? I'm not like a purple person. Maybe spinning had purple in it. This has purple in it. That has purple in it. What's going on? I don't even know. Okay, next work in project. Sometimes we call those work in progresses. I'm just, maybe sometimes we do that. Let me just discuss. This episode feels really weird because I didn't do Shenanigans first. Apparently I need to exercise that energy before I actually start talking about real stuff so that I can be more, I don't know, something, more me. Anyway, so I am working on, I just started, but I am really enjoying. It's called it's spelled Kelias. And I specifically tried to look up the pronunciation. It appears to be Lithuanian. It may be a place name because there appears to be no definition that I can find. And I looked up the pronunciation, and now that I'm looking at the word, I can't remember what that was. It was something like Kelias. Something like that. And it is by another person whose name I'm going to butcher because it's French. This pattern is available in French and English. And her name is Caillou Bérangère, perhaps? I did look up, it is like Caillou the Kid. It's Cailliau, Caillou Bérangère, Bérangere. And the reason I'm going through the spell, that I'm pain in the neck of spelling that, is because I know some of you don't, like if you're listening on iTunes and stuff, sometimes show notes are not handy to you. So if you want to look it up. It looks like this. It's such a pretty color choices. Aww, can you see it? Aww. So it's asymmetrical. It has short rows and stripes and eyelet rows. Focus camera. And this is what my version looks like. I put it on a longer needle just for you because I care about you. So there's my Safar. Ah! Stripes. Short eyelet rows. I'm knitting mine with, this is Hedgehog Fibers. This is her sock yarn. And this colorway is Monet. And it's great blues with the occasional kind of rusty orange pop in it. Sometimes even a little bit of purple. And I'm knitting it, the contrasting color that I'm using is my highly coveted Cakewalk yarns that I got at my first ever Pipeliner retreat. And this is the colorway Aztec Tomb. These are both fingering weight. I apologize that I don't say that specifically. And it's this color. So right. There's that little bit of orangey rusty color. I love it. And by the way, this hedgehog, I actually got this Hedgehog Fibers. I purchased it from Simply Sock Yarn. And I purchased it for socks for my grandmother because my grandmother loves socks in like a crazy way. We just figured it out like a year ago. She loves them. But this yarn, while it does have it's 90% superwash merino and 10% nylon, and it was beautiful knit into, I got like this much of a sock done, but I was just afraid it was so buttery soft. I was just a little bit worried about how it would wear. And that's not saying that it would not wear well. It just, I got a little bit uncomfortable. So I decided to pull it out and make something else. I've tried, this is unlike me. I've tried several projects for it and I just didn't care for it. But this one, I like. So, yay that. You can see it colors a little bit. And so there's two more sections. There's another stripy section and then there's another short row eyelet section that is just the orange. So again, it's kind of a little bit more, I don't want to say sporty because I'm not really sporty. Whatever, kind of am, right? I just look like I could be ready to be sporty any second. Whether or not I choose that is another factor altogether. But yeah, so I'm gonna, again, trying to challenge my knitting style with this one. And I think I'm gonna really like it. It's very fun to knit because again, it has the great thing that the Neon Beast has in that it is sections. So you do this one thing until you're done and then you do the next thing and then, and then you go back. So, right? You've got to knit that darn exploration station. Gotta make it. Everybody's looks so fun. And it's another section-y shawl. I think it's one of the reasons I kind of stalled out on my pop spots is because it is like, do this forever. Oh, well, it's fun to do that, but come on. Let me do some other stuff too. Now, see, that was so short. See, if I didn't just talk about nonsense, this podcast would be so succinct. But then... Anyway, so one thing I do want to say quickly before we get into shenanigans is that the Gratitude Cal is still going on. It'll run through the end of May. And it'll run truly through the end of May. I'll close the prize thread because I think June 1st is maybe like a recording day for me. I'm not sure. But anyway, so I'll close it on like a Tuesday morning. There's a spinning thread and a knitting thread, or excuse me, a spinning thread and then a finished object thread in terms of like knitting, spinning, crochet. No, I'm sorry. I shouldn't be allowed to talk apparently. Spinning portion is at least 2 ounces of something finished. Then the other one is going to be either knitting, crochet, weaving, whatever you like to do, but it needs to be an item for you that you knit with gratitude in your heart. That's easy, right? We have so much to be grateful for. That's an easy one. And then I will do the spinning one will have actual traditional prizes that will be fiber. And the knitting one will have gift card prize. Just saying. It will be a gift card to a yarny type place. And it will be what I consider a pretty good gift card. Just saying. You might want to finish some stuff up, okay? Okay, just saying. So, let's talk about shenanigans. Excuse me. I'm gonna burp again. I apologize. What do we do? Oh, that's what we did. We're gearing up for camping season, so I'm a little bit just in that mode right now. And that's just kind of like popping around in my head like, But we also have just finished last weekend. We went to, we went to Mammoth Cave. We didn't go to Mammoth Cave. That's the wrong thing. I keep calling it that. I don't know what's wrong with me. We went to Natural Bridge State Park, which is in Kentucky. It's slightly northwest, I think, of Lexington, but it's mostly just, I said west. It's east. What is going on with me today? This is why I should not take a week off podcasting. I forgot how to do it. Anyway, it's east of Lexington. So it's a pretty good drive for us. It's about 3.5 hours. It's what I requested for my Mother's Day gift. I enjoy the gift of time and forcing my loved ones to do what I want to do. But something they'll enjoy too. Make memories and stuff. So we went out there, in Slade, Kentucky, and I had looked at the little map before, and it was really weird to get there because I'm used to Indiana state parks or even like Mammoth Cave, for example, in Kentucky, but there's like a centralized, like, this is where you start from thing. For example, in Indiana, all of our state parks, when you drive to them, have a gate. And you have to pay like a $5 entrance fee. And then they give you your map, and then they send you off on your way, and you go do your thing. Well, Natural Bridge is not like that. You drive into this like holler, for one thing. It is a holler. It is steep-sided. You know, there's some floodplain, but once you get into like when you're getting close to the place, it's a holler. And it makes sense, I guess, that there's no specific, because it is a tight area in terms of like it's in the bottom of this holler, there's not like a specific like grand opening of like, this is where all of the things begin. So like there's a lodge, and apparently you could park in the lodge's parking lot and take the trails, but I didn't realize that because I would think if you wanted to park in the lodge, you were going to stay in the lodge, but whatever. And then I'm like, no, I don't think this is right. My husband is getting a little bit frustrated with me because I'm like, no, I just don't feel right. This isn't, because again, I'm like waiting for like I should know better. Anyway, so we're driving and I'm like, let's go, keep going. So then we pull into like the next parking lot area that looks like it's something, and I'm like, this looks super sketchy and not like where we're supposed to be. Well, it's just because there's no centralized, like, giant parking lot with welcome center and nature center. It's just all, it's like a little part and parcel, which is cool. I think if I just were more prepared for, like, next time I'll be like, yes, clearly this is where we park. Let's do this. But for example, like the campgrounds are like off just on weird side roads, and I'm just like, what's going on? Why are we in the murder valley? I can't help it. I'm a little type A. I can't help it. I don't want to be, but I am a little bit. I'm a lot of it. Okay, so I'm just like, what is going on with this plan? And so I had just like visually looked at the map. I hadn't done like I had not committed it to memory because I was anticipating getting a map when we got there. Well, there was no map when we got there. It was just like, walk, people, walk. Like, okay. So we started walking, and we're walking along this like this little like stagnant little lake. And luckily the trail was relatively passable. There were some places that were very mucky because, again, there's not a lot of places for the water to go in this valley. So we're walking, and then there's a swinging bridge, which my kid, do we call it swinging? It really was not swinging. There was a suspension bridge, a suspension footbridge that we got to walk across, and that was very exciting. There was lots of jumping by my husband and my child, but lots of me going, wait till I get to the end first, because I don't enjoy that. Then you can be happy and frolic. Wait till I'm done. So we start on the trail, you know, because it is like, you know, there's not that many different options. But I had read that you should take the old trail because it is the quickest and the easiest route to the top of the natural bridge. Now, if you don't know what a natural bridge is, of course you don't. It is a formation in Kentucky that has been created by erosion, where there is a very large land bridge where the middle of it has been worn out. So, and it's very high. I think it's like the walk is a 420 foot, I think, elevation change. So it's high. It's, you know, we're foothills of the Appalachians. Wide. It is a very wide one. I think that the thing said it was 20 feet, but it seemed even wider than that. It's like, as you know, you could drive a car across it if you just, again, for size. Come on. So, but anyway, so we're hiking. It's like, okay, it's old trail to go to Natural Bridge. I'm like, sweet. But I knew that there was also this hanging rock trail that they were like, people don't typically go up this trail because it is very steep and challenging, and people usually use it for a descent trail after they've done the thing. And they start at the same place, and at some point they break off from one another. And I wasn't really clear where that happened. So we're walking. And I'm out of shape. Let's just face it. I like to pretend that I'm not, but I am. Like, I am not a spring chicken, and I'm not a slim chicken. I'm an old fat chicken. Which everybody enjoys, but she still has trouble climbing up the hills. So, we're walking, and I'm like, dude, this is... Because again, on paper, it's like the trail to get to the trail is like 3/4 of a mile, and then the actual trail up to the top of the bridge is another 3/4 of a mile. So I'm thinking, 3/4 of a mile, that's nothing, right? And it's 420 foot elevation change, which in my head is like, that sounds like nothing. It doesn't sound like that much, right? It's not like it's a mile elevation change. It's just 420 feet of elevation change. That's a big deal. Oh my gosh, it's such a big deal. We're climbing, and at one point there were these people like very chipperly coming down the hill, and I'm like, I'm gonna ask these people, I'm just gonna swallow my pride and ask these people to make sure we're not on that trail that they said not to walk up, because I didn't really, there was no sign. I mean, there was a sign at the bottom, but then there were things that branched off, and there was not a clear sign like, this is the hanging rock trail, this is the old trail. I was just like, I don't know, maybe. So I asked these people as they were coming down, they're adults, you know, I'm just like, so just, do you know if this is the old trail? Like, they're like, we have no idea. I'm like, well, did you walk up this trail, or are you only walking down this trail? Because I'm like, hey, is this the Hanging Rock Trail? They're like, no, we went up this trail. I'm like, okay. And, you know, I'm like, they're fit people. people, but you know, they weren't like, and it was terrible. So I'm like, okay, well, we're probably on the right one. And after I knew that, I was okay. It was just that moment of me being like, really like, what the heck is going on with this grade? And not being sure. So then I was like, okay, well, apparently we're on the right trail. Boy. A fat girl will find religion on that trail. It was rough. And again, it's just because I'm me. Okay? Like, I'm sure the majority of you would be like, fun, it's wonderful. I was really like, oh my gosh, what is going on? My legs are on fire. They're on fire. But luckily my family is very patient and they're just like, yeah, they're more than happy to wait at like every switchback for me to be like, just in a minute. This was my idea, right? Yeah, this was your idea. Okay, just checking. That said, it was gorgeous. Gorgeous. It was so green. Oh, and I had just finished reading. What was that called? Not reading. Listening to. Oh, I'm not going to remember it. It's by the woman who wrote Eat, Pray, Love, which I have not read. I have it from the library right now to listen to. But it was by the woman who wrote Eat, Pray, Love. And it was... The whole book, the main character in the book is a botanist, and her whole family are botanists. But specifically, she is a moss botanist. Like, she studies moss. And there were so many mosses. It was so exciting. I'm trying to... Oh, there we go. The Signature of All Things by Elizabeth Gilbert, which I highly recommend. It was really good. It is a very... I think the audiobook was like 22 hours. So if you're going to, I mean, just buy the audio. It's a good investment in terms of like the amount of time you get out of your Audible credit or what have you. Yeah, the book is 512 pages, so that makes sense. But anyways, the narration was beautiful too. I enjoyed it immensely. I cannot explain to you how much I enjoyed it. But I just finished it, and then we were hiking, and there were all these mosses, and it was so green. And again, we live in central Indiana, where just south of us, there starts to be hills, but it's flat here. Or at least flat to my eyes. And so again, we're in this like holler, and we're climbing up this fairly steep, because again, there are even switchbacks and stuff like that. And it was a nice trail. It was not overly groomed. There was some variation in texture and tree root and things like that, so it kept you engaged in that way. But it was a good climb. I can hike forever when it's not that climby. When it's flat, I'm okay. But apparently I need some help with my elevation walking. So, but it was gorgeous. It was gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. And it was not at all crowded. I mean, we saw people here and there, but there was not like, sometimes when you hike in those like very popular places, it feels like you're just all like on a conveyor, like you're just cattle, you know, and you're just like, but there were not that many people, so I never felt conspicuous when I needed to like kind of pull off to the side and rest for a moment. I mean, I felt conspicuous, but I didn't feel like I was in other people's way. A shame. But it was gorgeous. It was beautiful. And then we actually get to the top of the trail where you're looking up at the natural bridge. So you walk underneath of it to go actually climb up on it, and there's like a natural stone staircase. I'll put pictures at the end. I'll try to remember to do that. But there's this stone staircase, and it's super narrow. It's super cool, but it is, I mean, it's not super narrow because I fit. I mean, I was fine. It was, but it's a one-way staircase. Like if you had two people trying to cross each other, it would not be advisable. So we're going up this staircase, and it's super narrow, and it's really cool. It's natural foot in it. And then we get to this next kind of like, so you go up this little staircase. It's not that long. And then there's this like, it's sheer wall on either side. Sheer wall. And I have a camelback on. And so I fit, but I had to take my backpack off. There was a moment where I was like, oh, and then I remembered I had something on me. So I was able to take that off and then just like scooch sideways through there. It was cool. But if you're bigger than me, there needs to be some sort of indication. Like if you're too wide to ride this ride, like there does need to be something like on the website that says like, oh, and by the way, also, if you would like to experience this natural phenomenon, but are not interested in thinking maybe you're going to die on the way up there. I didn't think I was going to die. I just had it in my head a different way. I would totally do it again. No problem. I mean, not no problem, like I would just rock up there, but I mean, I would definitely go back and do it again. It was just that like uncertain, like I just wasn't mentally prepared. That's what it was. Like the first time I got a tattoo, didn't hurt at all. Second time I was like, oh my gosh, what are you doing to me? It was like that because I had psyched myself out and was just like, oh, it's fine, it's no big deal. And then I was like, what? But the first time I was like on it, you know, like, oh, it's gonna be terrible. I'm gonna sweat, I'm gonna puke, you know. And then I was like, oh, I didn't do either of those things. So it's just like that. I just was not. I was like, oh, 3/4 of a mile, 420 feet. That's like nothing. Right? It's like nothing. It's like nothing to some people, not me. So I would totally do it again. But if you don't want to do it ever, there is also or if you have like very small children, now you can, I mean, a toddler, you would probably, if you don't want to carry a child, you know what I mean? Like you get a toddler, you would probably need to carry them part of the way. But if you don't, there's also a sky lift. So there's like a full-on ski lift up to the actual top of the bridge, and you can walk around on the top of the bridge. You can walk up to the lookouts. You can walk down the scary stairs of narrowness and look up at the bridge. So, I mean, you can do all that stuff even if you're not really prepared to hike up there. And I think it is not cheap. It's like $13. And quite frankly, when we got there to where that was, I was like, I'm never gonna ride that thing. Because it's like a ski lift. It's super scary looking. I know. I'm not really super vertigo-y, but maybe a little bit. I don't think I would do that. I would definitely rather walk. Unless it was like 120 degrees, and then I would ride the sky lift. Let's face it, I just wouldn't go. But it's a cool option for those people who can't do the hike. Oh my gosh, it is scary looking. So you get to the top, there's an old CCC, a Civilian Conservation Corps shelter up there, which is awesome. Because I love the Civilian Conservation Corps. It's all romantic-y in my head. I love it. Also, you're like, whoa, dude, how did you get this stuff up here? You know what I mean? Like, were there donkeys? If there were donkeys. But so then you walk around and then you can walk, and it's really cool because in the natural bridge itself, you can see across to the actual, there's another part that's called like Lookout Gap or something. I don't know. So you can see that, and you can see people over there, and then you're over here, and then you walk over there, and then there's another place you walk called Lover's Leap, which was scary, and I didn't actually go all the way out there. Neither did anybody in my family. There's none of that like, oh, just do it. No, they were like, no, we're good. So we did all that walking. It was awesome. Because of course, once you get up there, it's relatively level. You're like, ha, dream, easy peasy. So then we're going to go down. So then we do the descent. And again, there's not that many options. You can go down the same way you came up. There's that hanging rock trail, which is, I think there's just a lot of, well, it makes sense because the thing we went down was a lot of steps too. And then there's the old trail, which goes up. There's that hanging rock, which goes up or down. And then there are two other steps, different sets of steps that go down to a trail that will lead you out. So we go out to the Lover's Leap, and then on the way back, the first one you pass is called the Needle's Eye. And I'm sure it's cool. But there were people that were coming up it, and they like actually just stopped and were like, because the last step is like 3.5 feet. What? You can't, it doesn't look like anybody could do that unless they had like rock climbing gear or they were just scrabbly. But you know, like most adults could not just like put an arm up on a slick rock, by the way, because it's all mossy and green and beautiful and lush. And so all the rock is very slippery. I was like, what? So they just looked up like, And then I turned around. So I don't know how that one is. We went down the one that's called Devil's Gulch. I don't know what it is with me and the devil's things, but apparently I enjoy hiking where there's the threat of going to hell. I don't know. So Devil's Gulch is a set of stairs you can go up or down. Don't go up it. We passed that exit first before we saw the other one. And when we passed it, I was like, I'm not going down that way. It was only because the other one was terrible. And I was like, okay, I guess we'll do that one. It's this, I'll just put the picture and you won't be able to tell what it is. Because I was trying to take a picture of it, but you can't. Or if you can, but I was still worried about dying. So there was like that. So there's like a little outcropping. And then the steps, they're cut into like the side of a cliff face kind of a thing. And there was a very sturdy handrail. There was no handrail at the other place. There's a very sturdy metal handrail. Thank goodness. Because it's actually so steep and wonky and weird that even my husband and child and the people we saw first were going down it backwards. Like they were turned around and going down it. Because then your center of gravity is your gravity is more towards the stone steps themselves rather than going out. So it's a little bit safer. Or it feels more secure. And there was always room, because of the great handrail, there was always like, you could pretty much maintain your 3 points of contact. If you couldn't, you could at least have one really secure one and two that were a little up in the air. So we're going down there and I'm like, but we get down, we're fine, we make it. There was one point at a different point where there was a big enough drop and there was nothing to hold on to that I had to get on my butt and go down, because it was like one of those points. It wasn't a huge drop off, but I only had 1 point of contact. It was just my right foot that I felt secure, because the other thing was like this rock face that was all slippery and wet and did not have any sort of handhold, because it was just bumpy. It was not, and then there was nothing on the other side that you could hold on to. And my husband's at the bottom and he's like got my hand and he's like, and he's secure, but I'm not trusting him. I mean, physics, like he does not weigh as much as I do. So he's like holding, he's like, okay, just put your foot down. And like in my head, I'm like, put your foot down. But that animal part of my brain is like, no. So I keep trying to tell my animal part of my brain to put my foot down, but it's not having it. It's like, no, self-preservation is a good thing. We could live on this little rock face. We'll be okay. Just eat some moss. The water will come down. It'll be fine. So I had to get on my bottom and scooch down like a weirdo. So of course I can't go down any trails without my butt covered in mud. Whatever. I would not do that again if it were raining the day before. Probably even. That was some scary steps. Scary. But it was also that wonderful phenomenon of the whole way down. I'm like, well, no wonder I was tired on the way up. Goodness gracious. We just keep going down these steps. Because there's tons and tons and tons of steps. And then even when there's not steps, it's very steep grade. So you're doing these little like mincy steps, which your calves are just like, stop. But you're doing those like little tiny mincy steps the whole way down. And your toes are all jammed up in the front of your shoes and it's a mess. But the whole way down, I'm like, no wonder I was tired. This is ridiculous. We did see people coming up all those stairs. It was really precious because it was just, we had just gotten down off the scary part. We had no idea how much more, it was a lot more trail and a lot more steps. And there was a woman with her, I guess, husband or partner or something, maybe her brother, I don't know. But there's a woman and a man, and they were, relatively fit looking. They looked fit. They looked, you can't tell by looking at somebody, but they looked like they could do these things. And obviously they had. But she was like, I hate him. She's like, never again. And then as we were walking down the rest of the trail, I'm like, no wonder I would have waited on somebody to come back and get me. Because it would have been awful. Awful. Anyway. Did you enjoy my story of how physically unfit I am? That said, it was awesome. It was gorgeous. It was beautiful. I'll do it again. It was really cool. It was really cool. But other than that, that's been mostly what's going on. That and the camping fantasies. So soon. Okay, so now it's time for shameless self-promotion. Are you still with me? If you aren't, that's okay. I'll talk to you next time. If you want to hang out for shameless self-promotion, we can do it right now. Okay, so there'll be a shop update on May 15th. That's this Friday at 9 p.m. And it will have, let's just show you what it'll have. It'll have sock size bags. Wow. These cute little, now I have not repressed this, but just FYI, before I started making bags, I had purchased several, I will say, maybe not that many, interfaced cotton, quilter's cotton bags. And I was sometimes upset about the, see that? A little wrinkly. It's really, sometimes there's just some fabrics that do not want to release that. Maybe there's a special technique that I don't understand, but just FYI, it's not because we're being negligent as bag makers. I do my very, very best to try to make sure that they are as crisp as possible, but sometimes the world just conspires against us. So anyway, so there's this one which is a sock size, and it has crazy weird, like, mod orange and pink lighting. It's crazy. So there's that one. These will all have handles. Of course they don't now. There is a small wedge that looks like this. Isn't it beautiful? I'm thinking that they are carnations. I'm primarily thinking that because of the stem, which looks like a carnation stem to me. And that is just lined with the plain old. So there's that one. And then there are large wedges. So those are the only two in the small wedge and the sock. Oh, there's birds. So there's an orange one. And there's a pink one. And there's a green one. Right. Oh, and in terms of sock sizes, or bag sizes, this is my small wedge. This has two skeins, a 2-skein shawl in it. This is my large wedge, and it has 3 skeins plus the project that they are attached to in it. So, right. And then I have some sweater sizes. Right on this baby. So there's this colorway. There's also another colorway which I don't have done yet, and it is a white background. The leaves are like this limey, kind of soft limey green, and then the bird itself is pink. Oh, this is like so, like, oh, if you were like a little granny and you had curtains in your bedroom, right? Like if you were a fancy farm granny, you know what I mean? Like, you'd like gotten past your farming days, you were like a happily retired farmy granny. This is what kind of curtains you would have in your bedroom. Or maybe what your bedspread would like. I'm not sure. But this is what you would have. I love it. Oh, this is the sweater size. Did I say that? I don't know. So here it is after it's been re-ironed. I have no idea how they do in the mail. I should probably send myself a bag just to see. You can see the textures. So fun. I love that fabric. And I love these stinking birds. And then there are coordinates. Because I know some of you like to have a set. I don't blame you. I enjoy the matchy-matchy. Okay, that's all. Anyway. I hope you have a lovely week. I have every intention of talking to you next week. Until then, enjoy yourselves. I hope you get to work on your knitting projects. I hope you get to work on your gratitude project. Because as I said, there will be a gift card. There will be a gift card to Simply Sock Yarn Company. It will be a fancy one. And yeah, that's all. I hope you have a great week, and I'll talk next time. Bye.